It's Maddie and Patty on the East Coast. Welcome to the Cleveland Sports Hour. We are two self-aware but unapologetic homers who spend far too much time watching, reading, thinking about the Tribe, the Browns, and the 2016 NBA champion Cleveland Cavaliers. So if you'd like the informed, intelligent Cleveland fans' perspective on all things, you have come to the right place. We're in beautiful Scarsdale, New York, within the confines of the palatial McMenamin estate. This is world champion Pat McMenamin, and I am joined in person by fellow world champion Matt Youngner. Say hello, Matty.
Hey, Patty. How you doing, champ?
I'm good. How are you doing, champ?
Pretty good, Patty. We're out here on a beautiful day in a beautiful porch at your beautiful new house.
It's a beautiful thing, and with good internet connection. So there's no more auto-tune Patty.
Thank God. I'm gonna miss some things about Brooklyn, Pat, but your terrible internet,
Not one of them.
that has haunted this podcast lo these many years, will not be one of them.
Subject. Okay. I'm glad we're getting this out there now. We're going to start off the podcast by the airing of grievances. I get it. Okay. So we were talking about this before the podcast. The last time we started off the podcast with the circus music was a particularly disastrous Cleveland Browns game, which I think we titled I was actually searching through the podcast to try and figure out which episode we did, and I just saw the title that said, "Update: The Browns are." Hold on, what is it again? Let me see. Looking it up, it was the update. The Browns still suck, and I thought that must be the one. And sure enough, it was. What was the game that we were reacting to?
I believe it was an Oakland game in early 2015.
This is back when we were trying to commit to doing a podcast a week after Browns games.
After every Browns. Remember the details. I can't even remember. It's lost in the sea of terrible Browns outcomes. This is a game they were getting blown out against the Raiders. I'm pretty sure they came back and could have won and then blew it in I can't even
punt or something like that.
Something.
Yeah. Well, it seems fitting, I think, to start off this podcast, given what's happened since our last pod. So let's recap briefly what's happened to the Cavs since our last pod. So the man who built the first Cleveland championship squad in 50 years, David Griffin, wanted a promotion to president and more money. Seems like a reasonable thing to ask for.
Generally how it goes.
And with just a week before the draft, which is a big major trading period, and then the following free agency after that, Dan Gilbert decided to say no and let him walk. So, okay, must have a plan in place. He then turns and offers the president role that he wouldn't give to the guy who built the first championship squad in 50 years to Chauncey Billups, who has not built a championship squad, has no front office experience,
none,
but was once a member of the Detroit Pistons. So that keep that in mind.
It does go a long way.
It goes a long way. Now, Chauncey had a difficult decision to make. He decided between this and playing in a 3-on-3 tournament. And he chose the 3-on-3 tournament. Or league is the league, right?
It's a league.
Yeah.
It's more than a tournament. And to be fair, it wasn't just that. He also has his gig at ESPN.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the bet, which is choosing between us and the 3-on-3 tournament. But he literally, while he was still deciding, he decided he was going to play in his.
He skipped week 1 of the Big 3
while he was making this decision.
While he was making this decision, came back before the decision had been announced and said, "Well, I'm going to play this week," which didn't seem to bode well for him coming to the Cavs, in my opinion.
No, it did not.
Very exciting for his team. Yeah, it is. That feels clown school to me.
Clown school, right?
That's what we're saying. Not the ha-ha clown school that is the Browns that we can all just laugh at, but more like the evil clowns on the back of J.R. Smith's on his back. His back tattoos when they come alive and start to kill people.
Yeah, this is the clown. This is the clown music that comes up slowly in the background of the It remake that they're making right now. Really creepy synthesizer clown music. That's what this is. So now the Cavs still have no GM. We missed out on trades for Paul George and Jimmy Butler. The free agency has begun, and we still don't have a GM. But at the very least, our acting-ish GM, his first name is Kobe.
Yeah.
And, that's something?
You see, I've only heard good things about him in scuttlebutt around the league. People suggest that he's on top of stuff. He knows what he's doing.
Hope you're excited about Jose Calderon for 1 year, the veteran minimum.
Know that I'm not. You know for a fact that I'm not. I am not a fan of that. I think I texted you when it happened that felt like fall of the empire.
Yes.
This is when
they write about the fall of the empire. This is one of the things that they'll mention. They'll talk about. All right. Well, so we'll start off by breaking down some of the Cavs' ridiculous offseason crap and how the NBA landscape has changed. Then we'll try to cheer ourselves up by taking a look at the AL Central leading Tribe.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have time, take a moment to assess whether the Browns resemble a semi-pro team yet.
I'll give them a couple of minutes today.
Yeah,
I'm willing to give them
they've earned that. They've earned that.
Up to 6 minutes.
They've earned up to 6 minutes with just sheer competency. But the games haven't been started yet, so we'll see how long that lasts. All right. So, I mean, we all talked about this to our friends a lot early on, but obviously now, since nothing has happened, this is a pretty gigantic disaster, letting Griffin walk right before free agency and the draft and everything happening immediately after.
having no plan.
Having no plan in place. This is awful. This is the end of the Caps.
In my private life and in the public airwaves of this podcast, defended Dan Gilbert pretty strongly over the years. My argument was he did the things an owner you'd want your owner to do, right? Which is spend money and stay out of the way. Mm-hmm. There's always been rumors that he's been in the way, and I've never quite believed them because I didn't feel like I really saw the evidence. This feels like evidence.
This is very strong evidence.
Strongly like evidence. And I just don't know what, like, does he think a GM isn't necessary? Does he think, is it a Jerry Jones situation where he thinks he's the GM? Does he just totally undervalue the position and thinks he can replace it internally, which is what he's done every time? If so, why the dalliance with Chauncey Billups? Why was that a thing? Did he really lowball Chauncey in the way that supposedly happened? If so, that sort of suggests that he just doesn't think it's that important a position, or that he's got a team culture.
Like he's willing to spend like 5 times that on like bottom end of the bench guys that we had to pay that because we had to pay the repeater tax and pay through, for every dollar we spend 2 more, right, on the tax. He's willing to spend well more than that on that fucking bench guy without batting an eye, but he's not going to pay the guy who assembles the squad. What the fuck, man?
It doesn't
make business sense.
No, it doesn't make business. It's bad business. It's stupid. But I think partly why I'm so angry at Gilbert is precisely as you said, because we fucking stood up for him. We defended him with the Comic Sans letter.
Oh, yeah.
We defended him in his role and being a bigger man about it and burying the hatchet to get LeBron back. Mm-hmm. We defended him for the fact that he is just spending like a fucking motherfucker to get this team together and keep it together. I just feel like Pedro Serrano in Major League.
What the fuck you doing?
Listen, man, I stick up for you. Stand up for you. I give you rum. I buy your tickets. I buy your merchandise. But you want to? How's that speech end? You don't help me now. I say fuck you, fuck you, Dan Gilbert.
You're gonna do this yourself?
Nah, it doesn't work out anymore. The quote was looking really good. It worked out really well as parallel, and then it kind of fell apart.
You even got a rocket mortgage to buy this house.
I did. I know. I used Dan Gilbert to get this place. We had much more well thought out and prudent options on the table. I said, fuck this. No, I'm a Dan Gilbert man. I'm going to use Rocket Mortgage. Let's do it fast through our phone. Let's buy this house through our phone. God damn it. Gilbert.
Yeah, that is for me, most of all, is that I've
defended him for years, and this feels indefensible.
I remember when we were like excited about Joe LaCobe, as I call him. Right? Yeah. Joe LaCobe nearly blowing it in his negotiations with Draymond after the 2015 championship. And just enjoying the fact that, like, everyone says Dan Gilbert's a terrible owner, but Joe LaCobe's, like, fucking this up. And it's like,
that's also when we thought TT had signed right away instead of dragging out into training. Yeah, that one backfired on us almost immediately.
Yeah, that did not age well. No. And then on top of that, apparently Joe LaCobe didn't just have the luck and fortune of hitting KD's free agency in the huge cap bounce year, but apparently signed a guy that just wants to give his owner money and just take less money, not to make salary cap moves. He took less money. Not just to have the room to sign whoever else is trying to sign Livingston. He took even more or less just so he could save tax money for the fucking owner.
It's a weird decision.
What an asshole. What a fucking asshole.
Selling out his fellow union members.
Who thinks this is a good thing? Like, what asshole has a hot take? This is I get it a little bit, the argument for like to have room for players. I get that. Like, LeBron sort of did that back in the day. Obviously the argument against it now. But then to go the extra unnecessary step of saving money for the owner? Fuck that, dude.
It's on.
What a weird fucking dude that guy is.
Sounds a little fishy to me.
Yeah. Oh, is something illegal?
He's getting a check.
Ooh, slip to him under the table.
What are the penalties for getting caught with that?
I don't know technically what the penalties are, but they
Matt,
should
I'm
be.
just painting us a scenario here where we can.
They should be pretty harsh. I mean, would it shock you if they had talked about doing something like, like it's illegal to promise people ownership stakes in organizations, all that? Because there's talk about LeBron with the Cavs for that years ago. I think Magic and the Lakers back in the day, there's. I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but I don't know. They'll probably cut him in on something.
Yeah.
Maybe. There are lawbreakers out there, Patty.
Didn't he go to jail for something, Matty? He probably did. Bob Uecker. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad all around.
So let me ask you this.
Shoot.
Do you think the Gilbert Griffin stuff dramatically impacted our offseason? Because we knew coming into this offseason that we were pretty strapped. We didn't have cap flexibility. We didn't have picks. Everything we were going to have to do is what Griff seemed like he was pretty good at, which is making moves around the margins, right?
Yep.
We had, if we're going to do something bigger, we knew it would involve trading something that we have now. And the only pieces that really seemed to make sense to do that were Kyrie and Love. Everybody else is overpriced and more valuable to us than they would be to anybody else.
Exactly.
And it seems like Griff explored those things about as far as they could. Do you think him leaving when and how he did impacted our ability to get? I mean, it's really just Jimmy Butler. And
That's
George,
a very good point. I mean, another way to put it is, would the offseason have been any different if Griffin was still here? And I don't know that it would have been different. I mean, honestly, it sounds like GM Gilbert and Kobe Altman had a deal on the table to trade for Paul George, and it was Love to Denver, right?
I think what the Denver,
their pick
changed,
right?
Indiana and George to us.
George to us, and maybe we would have gotten whatchamacallit out of Denver. Fareed.
Yeah, I think that just sort of depended on
the money and stuff like that. But that would have been a nice deal. I think I would take that, right? I
think I would have done that.
I would have done that. I would have had qualms about it because I love Kevin Love, and I think Kevin Love I think Kevin Love is just going to get better next year. I mean, he really seemed to finally fit this year. He's really good on defense now, on top of everything else, and he spaced the floor. He fits this team really well on what it needs, except of course, the Warriors. But I still would have taken Paul George on that. But so it seems like that deal was on the table. It was agreed to, and the GM somehow overruled his owner. Which I don't know how that works. It's like the cold flip side of Dan Gilbert.
It's not clear to me what happened. I don't think that was the fault of the Cavs that deal.
But Indiana decided we don't want to take a better deal. We want to make a worse deal to keep him out of the East somehow.
Yeah, I haven't seen what I would regard as clear, accurate reporting on that yet. Yeah. So I don't really know what happened. But I don't think that was our doing. I don't think Griff leaving early is what 86 that deal.
No, exactly. And props to Griff too, by the way. Like he was making all these moves like the day before he was going to leave, and basically building the framework, saying here are all the different options we have. He built out, like, he and his cap guy, the guy who left with him, I forget his name, but they laid out all the scenarios. So all that scuttlebutt about moving Iman Shumpert to the Rockets is potentially a way of like taking on somebody else. It wasn't just a salary dump. From what I was hearing, the idea was to move him to create room to pull somebody else. Yeah, and then we could pull salary from somebody else and like get somebody like a Aminu from Portland or something like that. Like that was the scuttlebutt. Like those are things that Griffin had been talking, that had been rumored, things that Griffin was trying to do last year with the Beverly trade and Iman Shumpert. We were linked to Calderon, I think, before with Griff. Griff liked Calderon. And I know. It's just
Jose Calderon. I hope I'm wrong about this. Cavs Twitter is saying that he'll be he's a much better three-point shooter than Darren Williams, and if he had been getting those looks that Williams got, I don't know, man. He's an old, slow, unathletic point guard.
Terrible defense. So defense has been a concern for this team, and we just got worse at defense.
Right. We had problems keeping guys on the floor who were not athletic and defensive-minded enough to hang with the Warriors, and we just got somebody that's not going to be able to do that.
But now the Korver deal, you didn't like it at first. It's 3 years, $24 million, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, 8 million,
22 maybe.
Yeah, it's just like under $8 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's fucking great. But then you have 39-year-old Kyle Korver on your team.
You know, when is he going to be unplayable over the course of that contract? Is it this year? Would it be as soon as this year that he's just totally unplayable?
Possible, but
because he is way worse than he was on that 60-win Hawks team.
His speed and his defense.
Dramatically
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah. But I don't know.
What do we feel good about? That's what I mean. End of the Empire signings, like this isn't going to be.
Well, the thing about it is that like it's a
We're going to hate it
it's not
soon
huge,
enough.
It's just not a huge contract, and it feels like the kind of thing you can easily move in a creative trade if you're bottoming out or if you're whatever.
Probably, I don't think it's disastrous, but I don't know that it helps. I don't know that it gets us any closer to beating the Warriors next year.
Potentially, I don't know. I feel like Korver actually was able to stay on the court against the Warriors. He just wasn't hitting those fucking threes.
I mean, we kept him on the court.
Yeah,
I would grant you that.
But I just don't remember him getting that completely destroyed or burned to the point where I was like, we got to get him off the court. I didn't feel like I didn't need him on the court. If he'd been hitting those threes, it would have been fucking worth it. You know what I mean? It's just that he went, and he was shooting so under his normal percentage that I don't know. I still feel good about him next year. I think the year after that, he's big question mark. And the third year, but again, the third year, it's like then there's expiring contracts, and there's things you can do with that. And also,
who knows what the world looks like?
Kyrie might not be here.
Right. And I suppose if you're looking at this as we got one last ride with LeBron,
Which is not that might be right.
I mean, do you think this is the last year of LeBron?
Sort of.
I mean, if I'm LeBron, are you staying? Are you staying past this year?
You know, he has to. My sense is more than the suit. You know, like getting the banana boat crew back together again. I think more important for him is contending every year, which I respect.
Yeah,
and what's interesting about this offseason, and we'll duck into what other stuff we want to talk about. Why would you not stay in the East? Right?
Why would you go west? Why would you do that? Why would you make the path harder?
Keep wanting to waltz through the playoffs in the East if you can,
especially your career,
right? And so if that's the argument, then it takes off. You know that pulls the Lakers off the table or the Clippers or know who else in the East is an attractive destination for him to go and go back to Miami. Enough year to year. We were just talking about this earlier too. The moving salary cap ranges that changed so dramatically just because there were less playoff games this year than you might normally expect. So who knows what it's going to look like. So I expect him to want to.
Like he still get does he get? We didn't figure this out. Does he get the Supermax? Does he get the Supermax with Cleveland?
I think he can.
He can. I mean, why be the assistant head of the players union if you can't negotiate the Supermax for yourself?
Although they could do something like
sign trade or
that's just what happened with Chris Paul, right?
Exactly. But like that's what I'm wondering is like. At first, I was thinking to myself, he's got to be gone because who wants to deal with this kind of like nonsense from Gilbert, who's just like actively trying to fuck up the organization.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like most important keys: Tristan Thompson, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, LeBron. Well, LeBron, if he has to choose, those three guys are still there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, J.R. Smith's going to be getting a little older, so some of the satellite pieces aren't necessarily as good. But like, that's a team that's going to the finals pretty much every year.
Yeah.
I don't think adding Gordon Hayward to the Celtics is really going to change that equation.
It doesn't feel like that to me. There's Hayward and Tatum and Jaylen Brown's here. I don't know.
I don't see it. I mean, Jaylen Brown. I don't see that being a huge difference maker for the Celtics. They still have one of their best players is a guy that you can't play on. You can't keep on the floor on defense. On the defensive end,
Mm-hmm.
we just destroyed them because I mean it's no secret that they actually won their game when he went out.
Yeah,
because we couldn't just exploit them. Anyway, but like you said, I don't see an obvious place for him to go. So,
right, but that's the thing is the landscape can change so quickly now that I don't know. It's difficult to conjecture. Other than I think we are still in agreement that nobody's mad at LeBron, whatever he does next.
No, precisely. If he leaves, I'm
Besides doing something so horribly jerky that I can't. It's just not what he would do.
Right.
Yeah, and like say a bunch of mean things on the way out.
Yeah, exactly. Or go back to Miami. That would be really annoying.
Right.
Or to Boston.
He's not going to Boston. I'll tell you that. That would be the most shocking place for him to go.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, so actually I walked into this podcast thinking that, like, I think this really is the last ride, like the last year that LeBron's gonna be here and we have our whole team together. But I don't know, he might ride out Kyrie's contract. It's like until we lose those guys, or until they decide they want to break up the band. I think this band's staying together, man. I don't know. Maybe it'll a couple more years.
We'll see. And what happens is, what if we win a championship this year? He's gonna walk away after that, right? It's not impossible.
A lot can fucking happen. Like, again, the Golden State Warriors are going to be coming out of it's going to be much harder for them to have the cakewalk they had this year. They had the perfect lineup of who was their first round opponent?
It was Portland, right? Portland snuck in as the 8th seed right at the end.
And then they got the Jazz in round 2, but didn't somebody get injured too?
George Hill was hurt.
So they beat up squad there, and then they injured Kawhi Leonard, took him out in the first half of that game. Now you've got like Houston, San Antonio, potentially Timberwolves. I don't know how good they're going to be next year. Oklahoma City got much better with Paul George. It's going to be much harder, I feel like, for Golden State to sneak out of the West without having a tough matchup. So,
I mean, I know Durant went down for a little bit during the season, but they had pretty good injury luck.
He came back just in time to have a warm up. So he wasn't like finding his form in the middle of the playoffs.
Yeah, they said.
So anything can happen there, and then we got a cakewalk in the East. Like, anything can happen to us too. We might get injured too, but like even with injuries, I still feel like less LeBron's the one that's injured.
Right. Gordon Hayward is way better than I actually think he is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that.
But right. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense for him to leave if he wants to keep competing for championships. And also, we might be able to get 2 of his banana boat friends on the team through buyouts.
Yeah,
quite possibly.
I think we're both on the same page that we're not interested in any of the trades that are floated, like any of the Kevin Love or Carmelo deals that are floating around out there are horrible.
Would you trade Iman Shumpert for Carmelo Anthony?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would. The salaries don't work though.
No.
I don't think we can combine a trade exception in there. How much does he make, Carmelo? Like 24, 25?
Yeah, something like that.
No, none of that works for me.
No.
Now I'd take them both on buyouts. I will say that sounds like the end of the empire.
That type of move, right? Think to way past their prime.
Just start collecting
those. True. Just make us really the oldest team in the league.
True, but I will say those would be guys comprising your second fucking unit.
I would still do it.
That would be a better second unit because honestly, they aren't like the same guys they used to be, but they're definitely more athletic than what we were rolling out there.
Yeah,
in the second unit, or at least in Iman Shumpert's case, athletic and competent.
I do think that the Griffin talks with the Knicks make the Carmelo stuff feel a little less likely.
Yes.
I don't think he's throwing us any bones.
Nope. No, it's not.
That would have to be Carmelo saying "buy me out,"
right?
Period, and then it's my decision about where
to control where he goes, right? But that's the thing.
Griffin's wise enough to say it's better for me to get out from
under. Do you think the Rockets are really going to trade $25 million worth in salary to get Melo?
I don't think it's worth it for them. Like the pieces that I saw put together, it was like Eric Gordon was in that deal.
Why would you do that? Right?
It felt like it gutted their team for a guy that isn't that good.
Like, I mean, would you trade Eric Gordon for Melo straight up?
No, I wouldn't.
I don't think I would.
I think Eric Gordon's better.
I might though. I don't know.
I just don't think Carmelo's that good.
Right. I think he's better than we think because he's been on bad teams for a while, and he's been pouting and he's been kind of coasting it and playing his ISO game, and it just looks like shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put him on a good squad where he's not the alpha,
from like how he used Team America, like
he's pretty good in Team America, right?
He's the best player.
Yeah, and when he gets hot, he's fucking hot. You can ride that wave, or make him play systems. He's still pretty fast. He's tall. He can play a lot of positions. He doesn't play good defense, but maybe would if he could just focus on it. I don't know. Like,
Not in great physical condition. It
couldn't
never
get
seems
in
like
it. Never seems to get into it. You know,
no,
always just kind of that round, pudgy face. Like,
always a little fat. He had that
Johnny
one.
Peralta, fat shortstop.
He had
face.
that one TV commercial where he had his shirt off and it didn't look that great. You're like, buddy,
Yeah,
you're an athlete. And you had to get ready for this commercial and you couldn't get it together
Couldn't get
to
it
do
together.
that. Are you kidding me? Come on.
yeah, I don't know. I'd like to take a chance on that though. But you're right. Trading Eric Gordon. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
A lot of teams. I mean, it's one of the things we talked about previously was that teams, a lot of teams might just be ducking the Warriors now, and it might free up opportunities for the Cavs. That's not what happened this offseason, man.
Went west. The West teams went all in to get guys.
Everybody doubled down
That's crazy.
in a real, like good for the NBA in that sense.
It gives me
Gives me excitement. Fills me with hope and
I'm
just
enthusiastic.
lots of
about
warm
it.
feelings. Oh, hey, Maddie, we have a viewer. Who the hell are you? Who's listening to us right
I
now?
don't know. They should text us.
Yeah, text us or leave a comment somehow. I think it'll show up. I don't know. Anyway, hi. Thanks for listening. So the Jimmy Butler, Paul George trades. I mean, and the Chris Paul. Everyone's been freaking out about how all these major stars are getting traded for like pennies on the dollar. It's sort of weird. It's a ton of like huge names moved for not in very significant pieces.
No, you can't. I mean, the Paul George one was weird because he had them over a barrel. I mean, he screwed them pretty good by doing that publicly.
And they chose to take a lesser deal just to move him out of the East, even though you're not going to be contending for a couple of years anyways. Who gives a shit?
That was
Such a dumb move.
That's very weird. I didn't get that. The Jimmy
Shot
Butler.
themselves in the foot.
The Jimmy Butler trade, I get even less because they had another year to go on that contract. He wasn't pushing publicly to do anything, as far as I was aware.
Well, he's got to get out of it, right? He's got to want to leave or demand the buyout or something.
I
Right?
can't imagine.
He already
He picked up his
extension. His extension or
$24
option,
million
right? Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he's going to play out the string there with.
They gotta buy him out.
I don't even know who's on that team. Seriously, who's on that team? Mirotic?
Yeah, Mirotic.
I think he's a free agent, though. I just don't think he's signed anywhere yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Who do they get from the
Robin
OKC?
Lopez.
Who do they get in the OKC trade? The Lopez there.
Not the OKC trade. The Minnesota. They got Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine.
No. But the trade last year when they traded Taj Gibson, who do they get back? Didn't they get
Oh, yeah, they got the who's the point guard that Cameron
Cameron Payne. Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck did they just do?
I don't know.
that organization is in disarray.
You pooped in the fridge and you ate an entire wheel of cheese. I'm not mad. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's
That's
weird,
amazing.
weird player, weird unexpected.
Terrible player moves, trades, and just crazy. Chris Paul and the Houston Rockets. Is that good? I mean,
I have a hard time. My initial reaction was those are two guys that was everybody's initial reaction, right?
you guys need the ball, but
The argument I think is that they both can shoot well off the ball.
off the ball. And Chris Paul would like to play off the ball. Supposedly, I'm like really?
So his whole
And
he's so controlling.
and the
That's
whole
sort of like how LeBron likes to play off the ball. No, he doesn't.
And the D'Antoni revolution this past year was like, oh, I'm just gonna make Harden the point guard and put the ball in his hands all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And it was like explosion. That's gone now, right? I don't get it.
That
The Rockets' whole thing was 3-pointers or layups, right? Like that's all they wanted to shoot. They passed up mid-range shots, and that's how the Spurs eventually beat them, right?
Right.
Was they just planted Paul Gasol under the hoop.
Yeah.
So don't let anybody come in here, guarded the 3-point line, and then dared them to take mid-range shots, which they just refused to do.
Right.
Chris Paul's one of the best mid-range jump shooters. So I don't know how
It's like a layup every time, right?
does it change how they play. Oh, that'll be fascinating.
It'd be fascinating to watch. Yeah. I mean,
How does Chris Paul age? Yeah. Point guards don't typically age super well.
so basically they upgraded from Patrick Beverly to Chris Paul, and Eric Gordon's coming off the bench now, right?
He came off the bench anyway.
Oh, did he? I thought he was a starting shooting guard. I didn't realize. Oh, I didn't realize. I thought Beverly came off the bench. It's my fault. Interesting. So
Ross Lee
how much-
Williams, but I
How
don't
much
know.
better? Nah, no one cares about that. How much better do they get going from Beverly to Chris Paul?
Interesting question.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Paul's way better than Patrick Beverly.
Yes, agree. And a better defender, right?
Yeah, for now. I mean, Beverly's a pretty good defender and dogged.
Yep.
People loved him there.
Is he low? I can't remember my facts about Patrick Beverly. Because how tall is he? He's short. I mean, because Chris Paul is fucking tiny.
He's bigger than Paul, but he's not huge. I
I
don't know. It'll be
very interesting. Oh, one other movie we didn't talk about. Jeff Green. Blah.
Sam Amico tried to
had an article arguing why it was a good signing, and I was like, I'm not even bothering to read this. This is nonsense.
He shouldn't be Sam Amico.
He's I feel like people give him credit because they think he's Sam Amick. Sam Amick,
Yeah.
who's like a legit reporter. Where Sam Amico is just basically, I don't know who his sources are, but they're never really that good. They tend to be off. Most of his stuff is regurgitated other people's stuff. And the one time he got caught for like straight up plagiarizing somebody, I think it was somebody from the Fear the Sword side. He responded to it by like attacking them and telling them to grow up or something like that. It's like, fuck you, dude. You're kind of a dick.
So anyway, I didn't read his
sorry.
explanation because I didn't believe it because Jeff Green's is useless. What did he shoot from 3-point range last season, Patty?
I think it was 27%.
I was going to give him 28, but regardless.
First career? Let's see. This first career. Yeah.
Jeff Green.
He's a career 33% three-point shooter. 1 year, he hit 38%. That's good. That was his second year in the league. He hit 38% again in 2012. So that's something, Matty. That's something.
I don't like that signing.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's tall. He's fast. He's under 35. What they talk about doing is that he can make plays with the ball in his hands, driving the rim. Sort of, so could Derek Williams, right? Isn't that what we?
I mean, yeah.
It's another Derek Williams signing, basically. And apparently, LeBron helped recruit him. So that's
Right.
That's
LeBron was
something?
recruiting Jordan Crawford for us.
Jamal
too.
Crawford,
Jamal
yeah.
Crawford.
Yeah, but because somebody paid Jamal Crawford more than the vet minimum. Jamal Crawford was only coming here for the vet minimum. We weren't giving him any part of our mid-level exception.
No.
And here's the other thing, right? So we're in negotiations to bring over Chetty Osman.
Yes.
And apparently that's partly why we said no to Jamal Crawford. We're like, we're not giving you any part of the mid-level exception because we need it for Chetty Osman. So again, this is all what Griffin would have been doing anyways. The Jeff Green signing is sort of interesting and new, but Calderon was on our radar before. Jeff Green's the kind of signing that,
And also, to be fair, those are end of the bench signings, right?
Yeah.
Like, and this is the big thing: is there was no big piece coming without moving.
Chetty's the only young, promising piece that we can add. It might be a 3-and-D type player who can play wing position, so like that. So I think it's sort of like Jeff Green or Chetty, and these guys will just battle out for that rotation spot. Richard Jefferson's coming back.
He's coming back. I guess James Jones might not.
Might not, which is just as well. I mean, hopefully, I think he'll have his position on the team because LeBron just loves being around him
If he wants, unless he's just ready to go.
and retire and
hang out with his family.
well, this would be fun. Man, it'd be crazy if LeBron didn't make it to the finals next year. And so then, like, James Jones and LeBron would always share that little record. That's the thing. If James Jones retires and LeBron goes back to the finals, it's going to suck not having those jokes, not having those James Jones 8 straight NBA finals jokes.
I just enjoyed those.
Those are great.
Yeah.
They're always good fun.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, so
want to do East playoffs?
yeah, East West playoffs, and let's move on to the Tribe. So who do we have? Top 4 out of the East. Cavs, Celtics, top 2, right, for sure.
Yep.
Cavs, Celtics. The Gordon Hayward thing, and we didn't talk about this much, but Gordon Hayward, they lost Avery Bradley. That's a big fucking piece to lose. And they got back Marcus Morris, though, right?
Yep.
So another guy that I fucking hate. I love that. They took one guy that I actually kind of liked a little bit, and added somebody who's so immensely fucking hateable.
Yes.
Also, dirty motherfucker, dirty player.
Oh, yes.
God, why do they love dirty players so much in Boston? Dirty players, they like dirty players and Hitler Youth haircuts.
Yeah.
That's what they like.
Can't get enough.
Jesus Christ.
Right? I think Jarebko's gone from them this year, so they got that replaced.
Oh,
with
they
Hayward.
replaced it, yes, with a new and improved.
It'll be interesting to see who we hate there next year, Patty,
Oh,
because
I know they like Gordon.
Olynyk's gone too.
That's right. They got
He's
Olenek.
signed in Miami. I'm pretty sure.
They have not solved their fucking rebounding problem, Matty.
No.
It got way worse.
No, I don't think Marcus Morris is fixing that.
They're going to destroy them. And that's the other thing. It's like they obviously they're still looking for more moves, but right now that team as it stands right now got a lot of interesting pieces with Gordon Hayward. But like we destroy that team.
Well, I guess they're bringing over the guy's now last name I can't remember that starts with a Z that they then
Oh,
stashed.
Zizic, right?
Zizic.
Yeah. Is he any good?
Going to be their starting center and let Horford play the 4, but we'll see. You never know about those guys until they're over.
That's true.
Could go either way. So, regardless,
1 or 2 Cavs.
those ones too. I think it's still Raptors and Washington.
Washington first, right? Because the Raptors lost some pieces. They lost Patterson, which is a huge key to their spacing. They have Ibaka now, but like the whole point of adding Ibaka was that they were bad whenever Patterson wasn't on the floor because they had no spacing.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. They allowed them to have Patterson and Ibaka and always have that spacer on the floor. Now again, same problem. They have Ibaka and then no one else.
No Tucker. They got just traded
DeMar Carroll.
Carroll's gone. They lost a lot of depth, so it's like they're just themselves but lesser.
Washington has not finished its offseason, though, right? Like
That's true.
Porter's deal, as of whenever we started this podcast, I think today is the day they have to match it.
And there was a max offer, right?
Max offer.
Yeah. I mean, I think they have to match that. I mean, that's one of those like, yeah, gotta match that.
So I think Milwaukee could jump up above one or two of those teams this year. That's conceivable.
Really good at the end of the year. I think, you know what? I think Milwaukee's my 4. I think Milwaukee's my 4 and Raptors 5. I think they're going to fall down.
Milwaukee could jump up to 3 even this year to me.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's possible. So I think those 5 are
cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop in the East. So those 5 those 5 all made the playoffs last year. The 3 that I think we both think are going to fall out are Chicago, Indiana, who are both tanking, and Atlanta, who essentially is just tanking, right? They've gotten rid of everybody. I think they're rebuilt mode.
So we have positions 6, 7, and 8.
And 8
last 2 spots.
Miami, to me, is a yes. Like they were, if the season had been a little longer, I think they would have found their way in, right? They were on a major charge. They missed out on Hayward, and I don't think they added Kelly Olynyk. I don't think they've added anybody major. They re-signed Dion.
Mm-hmm. They might make another move in the middle of the season, trade-wise. But they have the cap space to do something big next year, too.
Yeah, their destination still. Bosch just came off the books for them.
No taxes. It's always a draw.
Right. So I think
taxes.
I think they're in.
Yep. Charlotte, I think, probably. Charlotte was on.
They took a weird step back last year, although had a lot of injury issues.
Yeah, exactly. Kid Gilchrist will be back, and they got Kemba still. What did you say?
Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard. That was such a weird trade. Oh God. Oh. They somehow won a Dwight Howard trade in which they acquired Dwight Howard. That's a minor miracle.
That's weird as shit. Yeah. So I think they get in there, and then who else?
So you liked Philly when we talked earlier.
I think Philly. I think Philly for sure. I think Philly.
I'm a little more skeptical than you are.
Yeah, because it's all their best pieces. Yeah. So Joel Embiid, will he last the whole year?
Will Ben Simmons play at all?
Yeah. Will Ben Simmons be good? I think he will.
These are all open questions. They could be super fun.
But Ben Simmons can't shoot, right? That's always been the problem. He's got amazing passing. Watching him in Summer League before he got injured, I was like, oh, that guy can fucking pass. That's going to be fun to watch. But you sag off him, and that's all you got to do. But we'll see what they do with him. And then, Markelle Fultz got the high ankle sprain. But he was not injury prone in college at all. Is that sort of just a freak? Did he?
Couple knee injuries. I think one on. I think it was just hyperextensions, but
right.
All right, so the Phillies. I don't think.
I like the also Saric, and they signed JJ Redick and a couple other. I feel like smart veteran.
How come nobody cares about Okafor anymore?
Okay,
because he stinks.
Yeah, it's terrible. But I don't know. That's a weird dude.
I'm counting Brooklyn out.
Yeah.
I'm counting the Knicks out, despite the Tim Hardaway Jr. signing.
Jesus Christ.
We've pulled.
Pause for 1 second. If you're Griffin, do you want that job after they just took on that horrible contract for a very replacement level player?
I don't think that's enough. One bad move is enough to stop you, and also the bar's set so low there that he can.
I guess, but also just take a year off, man. You're fighting cancer. You've got a lot of money, right? I mean, maybe not as much as you would have had, but just. There's gonna be
television for a year.
Yeah, there'll be a great fucking job waiting for you. You'll be at the top of the fucking market.
Yeah.
Like you missed out on the entire market because Dan Gilbert's a fucking asshole who wouldn't decide until after the market dried up to make a move, and
it'll come right back around though.
Anyway, so yeah, Knicks out, the Nets out.
We counted out the Bulls and the Pacers already. The Bulls I really don't see. I guess the Pacers maybe could surprise, but I don't think so. And seems like they're really rebuilding. Detroit. I don't know what's
Detroit.
going on with them. I mean, they were a playoff team 2 years ago. And Drummond and Jackson this offseason.
They're a mess, man.
They just traded for Bradley. I don't know what's going on. They did not. They renounced their rights to Caldwell Pope. Sneak in, and obviously the bottom of the playoff picture here is pretty ugly.
I'd say they're a bubble team, but I don't think they're going to make it.
So then in the Southeast, then there's still a couple teams. Orlando, no. Atlanta, we already said, is tanking.
They're out.
And then that's it.
That's it. We just go to the Middle East and the East. There you go.
That's just fucked up, man. This is after a year in which the argument was, now the bottom of the East is that, like
is really good. It's really good.
Better than the West.
There's no good 1-8 matchup, right? They're all going to be tough games, tough series.
All right, so what is the West San Antonio, Houston, and
Okay,
City.
Yeah.
The Jazz take a step back up.
Right.
The question is how much of a step back.
Yeah, they were trying to get Rudy Gay, which would have been interesting. But now, then San Antonio got Rudy Gay, which is going to be interesting what they do with him.
Yeah.
That's a weird signing.
Memphis, you think, is still in?
Yeah, Memphis is still in. I think they're really good.
So that's 5. Portland, I don't know what's going on. They really got screwed by the expanding cap last year and the shrinking cap this year, where all those contracts that they signed, it seemed outrageous, and we're just like, no, this is the new reality. Well, now you got Alan Crabb for
if it'll be, but it'll be a surprise if Minnesota is not these biting at the top.
Minnesota seems like it should for sure, right?
Yeah, like their floor feels like. Still going. 0 viewers. It says it's still going. I just don't know if it's actually recording. It says stop broadcasting. So it's still going. Let me see if I go to the site. Let me go to the. Can I click on the links here? Let's see if it's still going. Our viewer is going. It says we're live. Yeah, it's still going.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's keep going and see what happens. All right. So where do we leave off? And we'll trim this later.
So let's play a picture. So
yeah. So we stopped at Minnesota was a little disappointing, but Minnesota.
So I think we have 6 with the big 4 plus Memphis plus Minnesota.
Right. Those are the big 6, and then
the 2 to sneak in. So Denver has
improved,
gotten better. We think, right? The Jazz, maybe. Clippers.
Maybe
reading in. Portland made the playoffs last year. You'd have to think that they're
a
possibility. The Kings are better.
Are they? What do they do?
George Hills, Zebo. They had a nice draft.
No. The Kings are out until otherwise. Oh, the New Orleans. They full year with the Twin Towers, and what didn't they add some? Oh, and they re-signed Drew Holiday to a massive fucking deal.
Yeah.
They make any other moves to add to their team?
They did something, but it was on the margins.
Evans went somewhere else, right? Has he signed anywhere?
He signed back in Memphis.
Memphis.
He went to college in Memphis.
He's the Memphis that I like. Tyreek Evans from Memphis. That's actually pretty good. He hit threes. Decent three shooter.
I think I'm for the last two spots. Then I'm picking between Denver, Utah, and the Clippers.
The Mavs gonna somehow come back. I never know with them because what's his name is such a good coach.
Yeah.
Carlisle makes like.
They're not going to be horrible.
No, and they still got Dirk.
God,
Old Dirk.
West is way better.
So crazy.
Those are viable teams.
It is crazy.
Nipping around. Who's Phoenix?
Phoenix is terrible.
They're-
They got some
they're
good pieces, yeah.
coming out and building.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they had made that trade for Kevin Love, that would have been kind of interesting. Kevin Love spacing out that team. I don't know. But no, they're still terrible. Nothing's happening there. I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Tribe then. Let's talk about how much fun. The most fun right now is Bradley Zimmer coming out of nowhere. Not coming out of nowhere, but like
Earlier than expected.
earlier than expected. We knew he could hit. We knew he was fast, but I didn't know he was actually a good fielder.
Yeah.
He's been a great center fielder. Like I kept hearing, like when we were one of the big offseason concerns for the Tribe was center field defense, given that Tyler Naquin was a fucking tire fire out there.
Terrible.
And he got the Nipsies in the middle of the World Series, getting yelled at by his own right fielder.
I mean, it's desperate enough that you're rolling
Chisenhall out there.
Yeah, exactly.
who is not a center fielder.
No, but fucking great fielder though. Good right fielder. Great arm. He's actually pretty fast out there. Good feel. Anyway,
Not good enough to play center.
no. But I remember reading articles saying like guys like the solution isn't in our farm system. Zimmer's okay, but he's not the solution for defense purposes. And holy shit, he's been fucking like highlights every night and fast as shit.
And I don't think this is a name.
Right.
Zimmer's always
People
been a
have-
much higher rated prospect.
People hadn't found Naquin's hole in his swing yet, and I don't think that's the case for Zimmer. I hope not.
I mean, Zimmer will go through some struggles, but I think he has a real long-term future at the big league.
And he also affects things. Yes, he's also plus in the outfield, which Naquin wasn't. He's a plus in the base paths, which Naquin wasn't. Like hustle plays left and right. Way more power. And also, I was telling you this the other day. He has the added benefit of just being this gigantic human being. Like watching guys his height try and bat, it looks crazy. He looks like I don't know, a grown adult trying to play like wiffle ball or something like that, just crouching down into the zone.
Yeah.
He reminds me of that character in that episode of The Simpsons, like the 48 short films about.
Springfield, the guy that
Yeah.
the assembly call guy that gets out of the car.
Yes,
and
yes,
takes
yes.
Nelson.
Do you find something humorous about my appearance? This is the largest automobile that I could afford. Hey, everyone!
He's funny.
It's that kid who laughs at everyone. Let's laugh at him.
Zimmer's fun. Like Clint Frazier coming up.
Yeah. It does take some of the sting out of that, knowing that we kept one of those two.
Andrew Miller also takes some of the sting out of it.
A lot of the sting.
I did this last year.
I
said.
What Miller did last year was worth whatever Frazier's going to become. I still feel that way.
I texted a buddy last night to congratulate him on Frazier's just mashing. And he said, it would be nice to have some pitching, though. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I guess that is a fair trade. We really did do a fair trade there. Oh, man. I just love – he's a great player. He's fun. He hustles, and he looks crazy. Big, crazy size. I don't know.
Speaking of fun players who hustle and look crazy out there.
Wait, hold on. Here's a shot for Skyler. The Peter Crouch of baseball. Oh, right? Yeah, exciting. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Speaking of people who hustle and are a lot of fun and look a little crazy out there.
My favorite player?
Your favorite player, buddy.
Jose.
All-star.
Starting All-Star.
Darling
Third
of
baseman.
Cleveland.
Darling of Cleveland, and he got it by a last-minute Twitter push.
Yeah.
I voted an extra 5 times when I saw his
I
tweet,
voted extra.
and he just barely nipped it in there. And on top of that, it's not one of those things where like he used the Twitter stuff to get the vote to have an undeserved starting spot. No, he's the deserved starting third baseman. He's the best third baseman in baseball. I know American League for sure.
Not even close. There's so many good
Third
Damn
baseman.
it.
I don't know that. I mean, I think there's an argument for Manny Machado being better than him. They're having
Not
pretty.
this year, though.
He's been pretty good. Josh Donaldson was the other guy, although he's backed off a little bit.
He's the best fielder of those three. No.
Machado's an amazing fielder.
This is
Third base is super stacked right now in baseball generally.
This is where my Homer stats
It's
really
weird.
starts to hurt
Yeah.
on the podcast. I know nothing about baseball outside of the Indians. I'm terrible.
Arenado in Colorado doesn't do anything for you.
I don't watch National League
Turner in
baseball.
Los Angeles. There's like a lot of good. There's the reigning NL MVP Chris Bryant. You don't remember him?
No. Jose Ramirez is the best of baseball.
Jose Ramirez
is
awesome, and we should be thrilled that we have him.
His stats too.
He's having an amazing year. I say all of that not to shit on Jose. He's been fantastic and is a deserving starter for sure.
Will you tell me when I'm right about it?
Yeah.
When Jose Ramirez is the best third baseman in baseball?
I'd be more than happy to.
Okay, let me know. Thanks.
He's fantastic. So the Indians I think are 8 games over 500 as we sit here right now, 8 or 9. They have the run differential of a team with a few more wins than that, so they've had a little bit of bad luck in just run distribution. They have had really bad luck in hitting with runners in scoring position.
Mm-hmm.
So the hope is some of that will even out. They're only 2.5 games up on Minnesota right now and 3 on the Royals, who are much worse than them by those metrics. So in general, the thinking right now is that we should win the division comfortably if things keep going, keep playing to the level that they should.
And some of the luck evens out. Like we've been very unlucky. Like the run differential difference between us and Kansas City and Minnesota is crazy. It's like
we're plus 76 the last I looked, and they were both minus 60 or 70 something.
It's insane. So
that should even out. Guys Kipnis has been terrible.
Right.
Lindor has been in a slump since April, since his real hot start. He basically hasn't pulled out of it.
And if you look at the detailed numbers about Lindor's slump, a lot of it is, again, bad luck. It's a lot of like crazy low percentage on balls put in play. Yeah. Being actual hits. And so we'll see how that stuff kind of evens out as the season goes on. But
Encarnacion's starting to warm up a little bit. Carlos Santana has been pretty bad this year, although he's getting it going a little bit. So it's a free agency year for him too, which is a little, maybe that works to our advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had tons of injuries in the outfield, especially.
The starting pitching's been weird and starting to come around. Cookie's a little more consistent. Kluber's back. Jesus. And Bauer's starting to get it. Like I was in Cleveland briefly, and I got to see a game in person. It was the game against the Twins that we lost, where Bauer gave up like 4 runs in 1 inning, and that was it. Yeah. He was just lights out the rest of the game, and he was getting crushed that inning. They were hitting everything. But Bauer seems to be figuring it out a little bit. He might be our 3rd best pitcher.
Yeah, Salazar falling apart was weird.
That's weird, and
he hasn't been doing his rehab start so far either.
That's concerning.
But
Clevenger's been fucking great. Last two games, he had like he was. I don't know what the final score of the game was last night, but he 4-0, right? Yeah, so shut up for him, and that complete game shut up. But and he was pitching a 1-hit ball the last game we played against the Tigers. That's a good lineup still.
So I think you have to feel pretty decent about the Indian shots. And not everything has gone their way. I think they're playing. They're playing well. They can play better, and the luck should go in our direction, not against us for the rest of the year. So I think you got to feel decent about us getting in the playoffs, and then as always, it's a crapshoot.
So and that's the whole point. We just want to be in a good, comfortable spot that we're going to make the playoffs, and then we just ride it out.
And ideally, you don't want that wild card. So I think
exactly, the division outright,
and we should feel okay about that. So good times, and a really fun team that is worth your attention for the last 3 months of the year.
Terry Francona has been running out some weird ass lineups. He went away from the righty-lefty Carlos Santana leading off experiment in the beginning of the year to just start Carlos Santana lead off. And I kind of like that at first. Just get the man on base. I like that outside the box thinking. He went away from it, I think, because he was slumping maybe.
Yeah, he was really bad.
And just not getting on base. And so that hurt. But then he replaced it eventually with Kipnis leading off, which that's not really Kipnis's strong suit, getting on base, is it?
I mean, he's all right. He's
all right at it, right?
He's all right at it if he's not playing horribly.
But then he's also been slumping. So it's like you replace one slumper with another slumper. Now they're starting Zimmer, lead off. Was he back there again?
Yeah.
It was just Kipnis' night off, I guess. But Kipnis is hurt again, I think, a little bit. So maybe we'll take some time off, and hopefully we just leave Zimmer in that leadoff spot. I don't know how often he gets on base, but
I think and you were saying earlier too that they're continuing to hit Ramirez fifth, and
yeah, I think Ramirez fifth. He's one of our best hitters right now. Like, we should be protecting him a little more, putting him maybe third instead of Bregman.
He is our best hitter this year.
Yeah,
easily. I think Francona is a believer in, and this is the
solidifying roles and not shaking things up too much.
Solidifying, getting guys comfortable where they are, and that's what's most important. And that is backed up by most of the statistical thinking on lineup construction, which is it doesn't really matter. Right? Outside of get your best hitters more at bats by hitting them higher in the order. After that, it doesn't really matter, and even that doesn't matter that much anyway. So I hear that. I think that is what a manager can really do in baseball is keep guys confident and in the right place and keep everybody in the locker room happy. And I trust Francona to do that.
Yeah, I mean, they're keeping an eye on him though. I mean, he's been battling some health issues all season, heart problems. So that's concerning. I hope he gets better.
No, I'm glad they're taking their time with it, and it was good that I think the GM ordered him
to
stay home.
So yeah, that's good.
I appreciate that. That is a.
As opposed to the clown school we played earlier, the Indians are an exceedingly high-functioning organization.
How crazy is it that the best owner in Cleveland is a Dolan? It's
so crazy.
And somebody else pointed out to me, I mentioned on Twitter, I was like, he has been for a long time. We just haven't given him credit for it. We've been pissing on him for being a cheapskate, praising Gilbert because he's not a cheapskate. But actually, Dolan's been building a fucking first-class organization for a long time. That he and Chernoff and all those guys are the reason we got Tito.
Yeah,
he came because he trusted what those guys were building and knew it was a class organization. And like that's amazing
that we survived.
Chaparro and what's his face leaving for Toronto with no problem, didn't miss a beat. Just really strong organizational culture. It's a fun team.
Yeah, it's a fun team to have.
So let's get rid of Wahoo and
let's go back to
I just bought a bunch of Indians gear for my stuff was sort of old and played out and all Wahoo based. So I had to get them. The Indians are out on the West Coast next week, and I was like, I gotta rep this here.
You get a Party Napoli shirt?
No. I feel too late to the party.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I saw your wife wearing it yesterday. I bought it approvingly.
Well, because she liked that whole thing, and so she actually was a part of the Party Napoli's thing. A little bit late, but
if I already had one, I'd wear it. But it's too late to purchase now.
No, I wish I had one just to remember that season. It was fun. I love Napoli.
Just wear your wife.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, I don't know. It's got a nice deep V, so it suits Becca's. What am I? What is it appropriate? Okay, let's cut that out. Okay, great. So speaking of the flip side of a good organization, or I don't know, the Browns have been a tire fire of an organization for a long time. Now they seem to be competent.
I think it's just
smoldering now, and
but they're emerging from the rubble. They seem like they have their shit together. It's too early. I mean, like last year's draft, Ogba, book's still out on. Nassib, the book's still out on. Corey Coleman. So who knows how their draft went with these guys?
The receivers they drafted
a ton. Expecting big things from what's his name? Ricardo Lewis. They're expecting big things out of this year. Who knows? I don't know where we're going with any of those guys, but I like the moves they made this offseason. I like the draft this year.
I don't think they've done anything laughable.
No.
Even the thing they'd be criticized the most for was the Brock Osweiler thing,
But they got a second-round pick out of it, and like
the only criticism is that you spent too much on it. The money that you're spending on Osweiler, you could have spent. They had so much money.
But they could have spent the money on that pick and on Pryor and on Kenny Britt. We still had tons of space left, so it wasn't this move at the expense of Pryor. That's why I'm like, it doesn't matter.
No.
Like, we just chose not to lock into Pryor. I don't think that Pryor was willing to accept a one-year deal at the price that he got from Redskins from us.
Right.
That's the point. He wanted a multi-year deal, and we were like, absolutely not. That's the only thing that makes sense.
I don't have such a problem.
I don't either. Pryor, I'm bummed. I like Pryor, but he was a bit of a head case too.
Yes.
I remember when he was just dominating Norm. What's his name? The Redskins. Josh Norman. Thank you. He was dominating Josh Norman in the first half, and then Josh Norman just decided to play better and just shut him out the rest of the game. No, but I think he's someone that I would have rather us have. I'm bummed that he's not on the roster, but we'll see. That's the only thing I don't like, right? The only thing I don't like, and I like the process behind it potentially.
Again, I think they just screwed that up. Yeah, I think they had stakes that they wanted to stick to, and
they set their lines in the sand and said, these are the boundaries within which we'll make a signing, and if they're not there, we're not there. And so they stuck to their process. So their process might be fucked up, but at least they're sticking to a process instead of winging it.
And rebuilding the assistant coaching staff in a way that seems smart. And you forget that Hugh Jackson got hired so late in the process last time that there weren't a ton of
people left, right? Yeah. And then they got Deshaun. So sorry, we got 3 first-round picks, turning 2 first-round picks into 3 first-round picks, sort of, in all the machinations of things. Joku looks like a beast. Obviously, Myles Garrett, finally, hopefully, beast. I don't know. Looks great so far, but we've been there before with Courtney Brown. Sure. So we'll see. But and I'm talking myself really fast into Julius Peppers, a guy who can be everywhere.
Not Julius Peppers. This is gonna be constant.
This is constant. We keep doing this all the time.
So I got Michael McMiniman on.
Oh my God! Yeah, you do. You do. I'm 38 now.
I know, buddy.
Getting old. I got a house.
Long slow slide into senility for you.
Can we go that slow? It might be faster than we think.
It'll be long.
But and then we got Kaiser in the second round. I think and that guy, he's got incredible physical tools, right? Yeah. The knock on him, right, is that he doesn't have the right mechanics, and he disappeared in some games or had some. I don't know why he didn't go higher, because he's really smart, has incredibly good work ethic, right? Like those are some things that I learned about him during the draft lead up process. He's also got incredibly cocky, which you want in a quarterback. But his mechanics are off. You got to think somebody with those intangibles can fix those mechanics.
Has all that stuff and is a bad shooter in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, we can fix that. So I'm excited about Deshaun Kaiser. And if he's not second round pick, fine, that's perfect. You keep drafting every year until you get the guy. It's not a huge, rich first quarterback draft class next year.
And that's my take is do that. Use your second round picks for that. Yeah. In the first round, hit on guys
are going to work out. Exactly. Absolutely,
as you want.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is it bad to be cautiously optimistic with the Browns?
Yes.
You get sucked in?
Yes.
Well, I did something. Very big. In my move, I had the choice to continue DirecTV to do this NFL Sunday Ticket. I don't watch DirecTV. I don't watch cable at all, except to watch football Sundays. I made the choice. I said no to DirecTV. I'm just not gonna need to watch the Browns every Sunday.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I might.
Yeah,
I might do some illegal streams. I might steal it from my sister, maybe, or maybe I'll go to the bar for a bar nearby for the first game. I don't know.
What?
I just moved here, Maddie. I don't know what bars are in Scarsdale. There's gotta be some, right? Some sports bars.
It's a dry town.
Stratton. What? Oh God, I made a huge mistake. Yeah, I don't think it's actually a single bar. Yeah, I'll have to start looking at Westchester Browns Backers Club. Somewhere. They must, and I will join and go for the first couple of weeks till they're terrible and I stop caring. Yeah, exactly. It might be fun. So yeah, I'll be social. I'll reach out. DirecTV satellite says, "Hey, have a 6-pack. Hey, want to watch some football? I'm new to the area."
It's an amazing
team. You're gonna be excited about this. Up and coming team with some young, exciting stars.
I have an offer for you.
All right, I think that does it. We've done about an hour with minus the excerpts for inappropriate comments and the interruption we had, which is crazy.
And a strangely optimistic place for everything too, Patty.
I came into
From clown school music to
exactly the dark clown music.
Yeah.
I came into it really down on the Cavs, but I came out of it going, actually, I'm thinking this is the last year that LeBron's going to be playing Cleveland, and certainly very high percentage on that. But I thought it was like 80%, like he's gone next year.
Yeah.
Now it's like 50-50.
Yeah.
Like the logic behind it is him staying as long as Kyrie and Kevin Love are still here.
As long as there's a real path to contention.
Yeah. why would you go anywhere else in the West? Right now. I feel like all this stuff that happened just made it more likely for LeBron to stay, despite Gilbert. Clown school. Tribe are fucking awesome, and the Browns seemed like they're beginning something here.
Right.
What the fuck is going on, Maddie?
It's weird.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Something real bad.
That's exactly what I mean. When things are going really well.
While we were doing this.
Exactly. Yeah, Jesus Christ. All right. Well, before that happens, let's get out. Let's get out before something terrible happens. That is for the Cleveland Sports Hour. Until next time, this is Maddie and Patty saying. Friendship.